There are many good reasons why someone should go on a hunger strike, but when the Springfield baseball team decides to switch sides, Homer realizes that a hunger strike is the only way to make his disappointment be heard.
On a hunger strike starting right now.
The Simpson family becomes even more of a danger to society as Homer takes up taekwondo. Nothing good can come out of this. There is nothing better than some quality TV time to really bring a family together. And this is precisely why watching television is a favorite pastime in the Simpson household. After all, if Homer wasn't watching TV, how else would he learn about the grand opening of a brand new amusement park called Blockerland? This fun for all theme park promises a grand time for the entire family, and Homer gets sucked in like an insect in a bug trap. Homer is clearly far more excited to go to this parody land because Bart and Lisa are not interested at all. But since Maggie is almost dying to go, the family has no choice but to follow the whims of the toddler.
Maggie, no!
The family arrives in Blockerland, and it is pretty much on the nose. Everything is made of blocks. The foods, the streets, the buildings, even the water in the rides is made up of cubes. The entire family has a pretty average time, and Bart can't help but put two and two together, and straight up compare Blockerland to Legos.
Why did I get this Lego shirt? Right, Blocko shirt.
But the main disappointment is that the Eiffel Tower figure that Lisa got is missing a piece. She really wants to do something about it, but Homer knows that trying to fight the big corporate man can only result in more disappointment. But Marge convinces Homer that they should go back and try to get Lisa her missing piece. When Homer confronts the souvenir shop for their blunder, the employee bluntly tells Homer that he is trying to win a losing battle, but somehow, through Homer's act of half-hearted kindness, the employee changes his mind and gives Lisa the missing piece. This small act of standing up for the little guy ignites a new spark for Homer. He is now determined to help out people who are experiencing injustices.
You know, standing up for the little guy felt good. I'm gonna do it more often.
The following day, Homer shoulders everyone's grievances and tries to help them out. He begins with helping out Bart and heads over to Bart's class, where he speaks with the girl Bart wants to take to the prom. Homer really tries to sell off Bart as a good catch. Even though Homer is probably doing more damage than good, his heart is in the right place. Homer even helps out Marge so that her hair salon can make good on an old coupon. Even at Moe's Tavern, Homer seems like a changed man to his friends. Just for 1 week, Homer is a friend to the little guy. A big fish finally arrives when Lenny complains that he wants to refund a ticket for a baseball match. But since the team is owned by Duff Beer, Lenny is having a hard time trying to get his money back. Homer then assures his friend that he will handle the dirty business.
I'll help you, Lenny.
You want to help me? He's wonderful.
Soon after his conversation, Homer arrives at Duff Stadium and meets with the guy in charge. The executive of Duff Stadium refuses to give Lenny a refund, and for a second, Homer tries to stand up for himself, but he easily gets scared.
Sorry to hear that.
Spin that back to where it was.
Yes, sir.
This meeting is over.
When shown an ounce for real authority, Homer backs away from the office like a wimp, but he accidentally finds a secret room that will change his life forever. The room is filled with Albuquerque baseball merchandise, which is strange considering the team is from Springfield. Homer realizes that the Springfield baseball team is being moved to Albuquerque. This basically means that Springfield will lose the one thing that makes the city even remotely entertaining. The executive tries his best to steer Homer away from the truth by bribing him with some premium Duff beer, but in the end, Homer is drugged by Duffman himself in the hopes that he will forget everything. When Homer wakes up from his drug-induced sleep, for a second, he seems to have really forgotten about everything, but his own mind has a weird way of reminding Homer the truth, and this sets Homer on a course of truth and justice. Homer brings journalists from all over Springfield to investigate the Duff executive and his office. But when Homer tries to show them the hidden room full of Albuquerque merch, there is nothing there. All of the merch has been cleared out, and now the joke is on Homer.
Well, I think I know tomorrow's headline. Local man is liar.
The entire city is now against Homer for being such a fool, but this mob mentality only makes Homer more determined to share the truth, and he decides to go on hunger strike. Marge and the kids don't think that Homer can put up the charade for long. Food is a lifeline for Homer, and he can't possibly let go of it. But Homer has never been more motivated in his entire life. The following day, Homer protests in front of Duff Stadium and chains himself to a pole.
Now it begins.
Lisa is the only one who believes that Homer can actually go through with his protest, but Marge and Bart have no faith. Now that Homer has started his little campaign, he tries his best to share the truth with the stadium goers, but his words fall on deaf ears. Homer slowly begins to lose his mind. Without food, he is just an empty shell of a man. Meanwhile, back at home, Marge and the kids have to fill up on all of the food that Homer would have eaten during dinner. It seems like Homer's hunger strike has left a void back at home as well. By morning, there is a huge crowd gathered around Homer, and everyone gawks at the man as he tries to fight off the hunger pangs.
I'm kinda like Jesus, but not in a sec.
Homer's pain and suffering is now amusement for the masses, and absolutely no one cares why Homer is on a hunger strike in the first place. Duffman and the executive realize that Homer is taking away all of the attention from the game, and they decide to use his hunger strike for more advertisement. Homer is removed from his usual spot and placed in the middle of the stadium. Now everyone can see this lunatic man rambling away. Homer tries his best to tell everyone that the team is moving to Albuquerque, but his desperation is only seen as entertainment. As time passes, Homer tries to ignore the sounds of all the eating going on in the stadium. He has lost a lot of weight and is slowly losing his iconic awkward form.
I'm wasting away. Oh, I'm down to a B cup.
An entire week has passed, and Marge is worried for her husband. She tries to argue with the Duff executive, but he is convinced that Homer is going to be fine, even though Marge can see that Homer is turning into a shriveled-up beach whale. The greedy eyes of capitalism only see a man resting after having fun. Marge is sure that these soulless corporate goons will get her husband killed no matter what.
It's been a whole week. Why are you letting my husband die? What does that have to do with baseball?
Homer's hunger strike reaches a whopping 12 days, and his motivation is dulling. Homer tries to reach for a stale pretzel on the ground, but is interrupted by an illusion. Even the Duff executive thinks that Homer is turning into an eyesore. So they decide to free Homer and replace him with another bozo who is willing to do anything to entertain the crowd. The Duff executive tells Homer that his hunger strike has come to an end, and that his efforts were truly admirable. Duffman himself offers Homer a brand new hot dog being released by the company. For a second, Homer gives into temptation, but he soon realizes that the hot dog smells a lot like Albuquerque.
It's the kind of bold flavor they enjoy in Albuquerque!
The crowd is finally awakened to the truth, and everyone realizes that Duff is planning to move the team. Homer rallies the crowd to demand the truth, and even Duffman is convinced that he is standing on the wrong side of history. Duffman proceeds to throw away the executive, while Homer takes a victory, fatty, sweet victory lap through the stadium. It seems like Homer's hunger strike actually managed to save the Springfield baseball team, and the man who was once ridiculed on screen is now loved by the people, just like the time the Simpsons were loved by the internet when they became internet stars. But fame is not for everyone, and you will see their rise and fall. So, if you want to see what happens, click on this video next, but not before you hit those like and subscribe buttons.